It's the new year, and it's time for us to finally get rid of all that clutter. I often wonder how I let myself get to the point where looking at my space makes me physically stressed. It's no secret I can be a messy person, though I like to make the excuse that my small Toronto condo just has no storage. Year after year, I tell myself the same lies. Deep down, I know the power is in me to get my space together and finally declutter, the big, scary word for messy people. I've realized over the years now that my space can also be a reflection of my mental clarity. We are starting the new year fresh by decluttering, and I'll also be sharing 3 of my top decluttering tips from a messy girl. I promise you, if you are someone that gets overwhelmed with the idea of decluttering, I have been there. And in 2024, we are going to be more intentional and take actionable tips for making our places clean and having a system in place to keep it this way. So before decluttering, I always like to start making sure everything is clean and put back into place. So for example, my dishes, just washing those and putting those all away. And as you can see, my countertop was also really full. So for me, I feel way more productive when I can give it a good clean, but also start decluttering along the way. So opening some of my shelves and clearing out some things that I no longer use or that have gone bad. So my first clean girl habit that I want to share is picking an area of your house to focus on keeping clean, but also making this a part of your routine. So for me, when I first moved here, I would let my dishes pile up, or I would let my counter get so filled with so much junk that I don't use every day. So making sure to just build it into my habit and daily routine to return things to their place, clean things up a little, have the dishes done before I go to bed. Like little things like that make the biggest difference. You should be proud of yourself for completing that one room, but there's still more. If you're like me and you try to stick all your garbage into one room and call it a day sometimes, we are not doing that in 2024. And we are actually going to be cleaning these up and putting them into functional spaces so that it doesn't stay messy after we clean it. As it is time to start decluttering my space. It looks like I have a ton of stuff just lying around on the floor, but I do! Guys, it is time to clean these up. We're gonna hang some of these up on my dresser. So this is the stuff we're gonna hang. The second tip is to organize your outfits and clothing by seasons. If you live somewhere with seasons like me, there's winter outfits but also summer outfits. So in the winter, I like to put away all my summer clothes to a designated spot so I know I don't need anything from there, because I find I tend to get messy when I'm looking for clothing that I somehow stuck in the back of my closet and I have no idea where it is. So being very intentional about how you're storing your stuff. I know a lot of people who also get like lockers or storage rooms, and that's really helpful, especially for if you have a lot of seasonal clothing. I personally struggle with not knowing where to put my clothes after I'm getting dressed. So we're gonna try to hang up some of these clothing in a more efficient way. Starting with my knits on this rack. I don't even know why I have this rack, I just do not have enough space. I don't think I want to put this here. If you're like me and you have a lot of clothes, I have a clothing rack where I actually put some of the clothes that I plan to wear in the next month or season, and I swap these out every so often. I feel like I don't wear half the clothes in here, so we're gonna declutter and shift around some clothing. This is going to my parents. Let's do these jeans. This is a good jean. My last tip for this video is to be intentional with the things that you're keeping in your house. I think a lot of times we hold on to things, but being comfortable with the idea that if I let go of this, I'm making space for something new, that is the affirmation you need to tell yourself. I think we live in a time where it's like, I sometimes want to keep clothing because I think that I'm going to want to give this to my grandkids or something. Like, I think it's going to be something I'll use in the future. And then I realized that, you know what, like, I just don't have the luxury of having that much space that it is worth keeping. So knowing when to declutter and get rid of certain items is so important.
Oh, the joys of cleaning. Time to organize some of these clothes because I feel like some of these are going to be donated because I literally don't touch all of these clothing. So we're going to see what I'm going to get rid of. These jeans are way too long on me, so I think these are going to have to be donated. So this is a much neater stack. I think it still looks a little messy, but it's just because I have bulky clothing, and I'm gonna try to declutter some of the clothes I wear in the closet. Okay, so we've pretty much cleared up this little countertop as well as my clothing rack. My desk, honestly, this might be the best for today because I still need to use that stuff. And then I have this little organizer here.
Though there are still so many places to touch, I thought this was a good start for decluttering in 2024. So in the new year, we're going to 1, build a system so decluttering becomes a part of our regular daily routines. Number 2, we're going to be cognizant of seasons. So how do we organize our space in times when our skin needs more product for the winter, or we need winter clothing, being intentional with how we're organizing our space. And my last tip is to remember that when we let things go, we're making space for new energies to come. So decluttering, we shouldn't be stressed to get rid of old things. I think it can be very freeing and very calming. So being okay with letting go of some of that. And Happy New Year, guys.